All right, so here is Brown Girl Dreaming, and I'm going to go ahead and just give you a short preview of the book, and then I'll go ahead and read some of the poems in this. So it's about the author, Jacqueline Woodson, and she shares her childhood growing up as an African American in the 1960s and 70s. And so I'm not going to give away too much. We'll follow her story, and it's written in poems. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll just read through a few of the poems, and this will be the first section that we cover. February 12th, 1963. I am born on a Tuesday at University Hospital, Columbus, Ohio, USA, a country caught between black and white. I am born not long from the time, or far from a place where my great-great-grandparents worked the deep rich land unfree, dawn till dusk, unpaid, drank cool water from scooped out gourds, looked up and followed the sky's myriad constellations to freedom. I am born as the South explodes. Too many people, too many years. Enslaved, then emancipated, but not free. The people who look like me keep fighting and marching and getting killed. So that today, February 12th, 1963, and every day from this moment on, brown children like me can grow up free, can grow up learning and voting and walking and riding wherever we want. I am born in Ohio, but the stories of South Carolina already run like rivers through my veins. Second daughter's second day on earth. My birth certificate says female Negro, mother, Mary Ann Irby, 22, Negro, father, Jack Austin Woodson, 25, Negro. In Birmingham, Alabama, Martin Luther King Jr. is planning a march on Washington, where John F. Kennedy is president. In Harlem, Malcolm X is standing on a soapbox talking about revolution. Outside the window of University Hospital, snow is slowly falling. So much already covers this vast Ohio ground. In Montgomery, only 7 years have passed since Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a city bus. I am born brown-skinned, black-haired, and wide-eyed. I am born Negro here and colored there. And somewhere else, the freedom singers have linked arms, their protests rising into song. Deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. And somewhere else, James Baldwin is writing about injustice, each novel, each essay, changing the world. I do not yet know who I'll be, what I'll say, how I'll say it. Not even 3 years have passed since a brown girl named Ruby Ridges walked into an all-white school. Armed guards surrounded her while hundreds of white people spat and called her names. She was 6 years old. I don't know if I'll be strong like Ruby. I don't know what the world will look like when I'm finally able to walk, speak, write. The nurse says to my mother, already I am being named for this place. Ohio, the Buckeye State. My finger curls into fists. Automatically, this is the way, my mother said, of every baby's hand. I do not know if these hands will become Malcolm's, raised and fisted, or Martin's, open and asking, or James's, curled around a pen. I do not know if these hands will be Rosa's, or Ruby's, gently loved and fiercely folded, calmly in a lap, on a desk, around a book, ready to change the world. A girl named Jack. Good enough name for me, my father said, the day I was born. Don't see why, she can't have it too. But the women said no, my mother first, then each aunt pulling my pink blanket back, patting the crop of thick curls, tugging at my new toes, touching my cheeks. We won't have a girl named Jack, my mother said. And my father's sisters whispered. A boy named Jack was bad enough, but only so my mother could hear. Name a girl Jack, my father said, and she can't help but grow up strong. Raise her right, my father said, and she'll make that name her own. Name a girl Jack, and people will look at her twice, my father said. For no good reason but to ask if her parents were crazy, my mother said. And back and forth it went until I was Jackie, and my father left the hospital mad. My mother said to my aunts, hand me that pen, wrote Jacqueline, where it asked for my name. Jacqueline, just in case someone thought to drop the IE. Jacqueline, just in case I grew up and wanted something a little bit longer and further away from Jack. The Woodsons of Ohio. My My father's family can trace their history back to Thomas Woodson of Chillicothe. He's said to be the first son of Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings. Some say this isn't so, but the Woodsons of Ohio know what the Woodsons coming before them left behind, in Bibles, in stories, in history coming down through time. So, ask any Woodson why you can't go down the Woodson line without finding doctors and lawyers and teachers, athletes and scholars and people in government. They'll say, we had a head start. They'll say, Thomas Woodson expected the best of us. They'll lean back, lace their fingers across their chests, smile a smile that's older than time, say, well, it all started back before Thomas Jefferson Woodson of Chillicothe. And they'll begin to tell our long, long story. The ghost of the Nelsonville house. The Woodsons are one of the few black families in this town. Their house is big and white and sits on a hill. Look up to see them through the high windows inside a kitchen filled with the light of a watery Nelsonville sun. In the parlor, a fireplace burns warmth into the long Ohio winter. Keep looking and it's spring again, and it's like gold now, dancing across the pine floors. Once, there were so many children here running through this house, up and down the stairs, hiding under beds and in trunks, sneaking into the kitchen for my tiny pieces of icebox cake, cold fried chicken, thick slices of their mother's honey ham. Once, my father was a baby here, and then he was a boy, but that was a long time ago. In the photos, my grandfather is taller than everybody, and my grandmother just an inch smaller. On the walls, their children run through fields, play in pools, dance in teen-filled rooms, all of them. Grown up and gone now, but wait, look closely. There's Aunt Alicia, the baby girl, curls spiraling over her shoulders, her hands cupped around a bouquet of flowers, only 4 years old in that picture, and already a reader. Beside Alicia, another picture, my father Jack, the oldest boy, 8 years old and mad about something, or is it someone we cannot see? In another picture, my Uncle Woody, baby boy, laughing and pointing, the Nelsonville house behind him, and maybe his brother at the end of his pointed finger. My Aunt Anne in her nurse's uniform, my Aunt Ada in her university sweater, Buckeye to the bone. The children of hope and grace. Look closely. There I am, in the furrow of Jack's brow, and the slyness of Alicia's smile, in the bend of Grace's hand. There I am, beginning. It'll be scary sometimes. My great-great-grandfather on my father's side was born free in Ohio, 1832. Built his home and farmed his land, and dug for coal when the farming wasn't enough. Fought hard in the war, his name in the stone now on the Civil War Memorial. William J. Woodson, United States Colored Troops, Union Company B, 5th Reg. A long time dead, but living still among the other soldiers on that monument in Washington, D.C. His son was sent to Nelsonville, lived with an aunt, William Woodson, the only brown boy in an all-white school,